Flight's taking his talents to the NBA.
Irish, green, green, green.
But there's a catch. He will be replacing Steph as the Warriors selection in the 2009 draft.
Oh, that's me.
And to be honest, it started off pretty well. 16 points per game at a 78 overall is really solid for a rookie. And of course, he has his eyes on the Rookie of the Year trophy. But there's someone lurking ready to mess it all up. Steph's already averaging 22 and 8. Already it's clear that Flight has massive shoes to fill. But he can do it. We all know about his legendary work ethic. But to help him out even more, every season, we'll be spinning a wheel of upgrades. If it was my choice, I want a dunk boost. That's kind of what I'm banking on. Flight will be a good shooter by the end of this, but like, you know, a dunk boost, dunking and shooting. But for now, we're upgrading 2 badges to gold. And Flight's first 2 gold badges would be Ankle Breaker, for obvious reasons, and Quick First Step, also for obvious reasons. Slowly but surely, he's catching up to Steph, and their rivalry will change everything we know about the NBA, starting with the 2010 NBA draft, where the Warriors would have the 3rd pick.
The Golden State Warriors select Paul George of Fresno State University.
Okay, you know what, bro? Honestly, I will take that. I will take that. Flight's now going into season 2, and there's reasons for him to be optimistic. After the offseason, he'd be moving up from a 78 to an 82, and on top of that, Paul George would win Rookie of the Year. He's going to be crucial, for sure. All the signs are pointing towards a really successful season, but that wasn't the case. The Warriors would only win 36 games and will wind up with the 11th pick in the 2011 draft. But when you think about it, it's not so bad. There's a really obvious selection for them to make. That's not Klay Thompson.
What's this dude's name? Valadanis?
Also, I didn't forget, we still have to upgrade Flight, and his next upgrade is going to be plus 25, no, plus 15 to all defense. And with that, for season 3, Flight would be checking in at an 85 overall. And on top of his elite defense, he'd finally average 20 points per game. Combine that with Paul George and Monte Ellis, you have a legit big 3. So to no one's surprise, they would win 48 games and match up against OKC in the first round of the playoffs. Okay, so they have Westbrook, Harden, KD, Ibaka, the usual names. How did they get John Wall? When did this happen? Why is he the 6th man? And that's just one of many insane teams Flight would go up against. But heading back to OKC, it was looking bleak. He would lose the first 2 games. But the next 2 games would be played in Oakland, and Flight wouldn't let the fans down. 27 points in game 3 and 22 in game 4. The series is officially tied up 2-2, and it seems like Flight has all the momentum. But game 5, unfortunately, would be all OKC. These are some highly questionable shots, bro. John Wall all the way to the basket, the layup's good, and all of a sudden, it's kind of falling apart for the Warriors right now, I'm not gonna lie. Which unfortunately means Flight has to come back down 3-2. But game 6 would shift back to Oakland, and as usual, Flight would protect home court. And by the time the 4th quarter came around, it was wraps. They're sending a double on Monte, they pass it over to the big man Valanciunas, they pass it over to Flight. Flight could end it right now. Flight, oh my god, wait, bro. There's no way, bro. There's no way Flight just hit the night-night. And after that, Flight would hit a couple free throws, and we're officially moving on to game 7. And it wound up being extremely close for the entire game. Maybe even too close, because the game would go into overtime. Flight and the Warriors are down 1 with 50 seconds left. But somebody has to get a stop. Oh my god, Westbrook over Flight, he missed it. Come on, come on, come on. Paul George with the ball, wearing 25. That's really awkward. What was that? Bro, why did he take this shot, bro? Bro, he hit the back of the backboard. I don't know what's going on right now. KD with the pull-up, he missed it. Both teams want to lose. So the Warriors would call on the veteran and Flight's mentor, Monte Ellis, to get them a bucket. I don't know what's going on. Monte Ellis was tired of all the nonsense. Paul George on KD. KD with the layup. Honestly, solid enough defense. I don't know, man. Pass it into Flight. Flight with one more chance to win the game. I don't know what's the play call right now. He's kind of running around in circles. Not too sure what's going on. They give him all the space in the world. He throws it over to Paul George. Oh my god, that's a beautiful look. He smoked it. Paul George. And unfortunately, that miss would be sending Flight and the Warriors home. Paul George, it doesn't get worse than that. Kind of on the bright side though, Steph also got eliminated in the first round. So in terms of who's going to win a championship first, him and Flight are even. But Flight would bounce back after another strong offseason of work.
I have to get my drill moves on complete A1, people.
And for season 4, he's now at an 89 overall, and he would make his first all-star team averaging 26, 6, and 5. But the fun would stop there, because for a second straight season, he would get eliminated by OKC in the first round. But Steph didn't seem like he was having too many problems. He'd make it to the conference finals, and even though he got eliminated, he's still making really good progress. But for Flight's next spin, he's getting some badges. Okay, we didn't get the attribute boost, but I am going to upgrade Posterizer. And you know what, bro? I'm gonna upgrade Bully. Bully's gonna be on silver. I want to see Flight throw some elbows. And I'm just now realizing this as I'm editing, but I was supposed to upgrade 3 badges, but I only upgraded 2, so my bad. But even though I can't count, Flight would be checking in at a 92 overall. And with the sudden departure of Monte Ellis, Flight would have to take more shots. But it's Flight. He's ready for the moment.
Broke the scale, broke the scale, broke the scale, I broke the scale, broke the the scale, broke the scale, broke the scale, I broke the scale.
But for a third straight time, Flight would be eliminated by OKC in the playoffs, this time in the second round. We can't beat this team. On the other hand though, Steph was having an all-time playoff run. Steph made it to the finals before Flight, and Portland wouldn't have the answer for him for the entire series. The race to see who would win a championship between Flight and Steph would go to Steph. And now the question remains, how long will it take for Flight to get his? Well, to help him out a little more, we're moving on to wheel number 2. Even though there's less upgrades on this one, they're way better than the ones on the first. There's only 5 options, but there are no bad options. And it looks like we are going to land on plus 10 badge points. That is huge. Limitless range, 1, 2. Deadeye, 1, 2, 3. Ankle breaker, we're upgrading to Hall of Fame, 1. Quick first step, we're also upgrading to Hall of Fame, so that's another 1. I think we're at 7. And clamps will do it for Cash Nasty, 8, 9, 10. Which now makes Flight a 94 overall, and he would average 29, 6, and 10. An insane stat line. At this point, he has to win MVP. What? Flight's MVP was robbed by Kyle Lowry, so he took it as extra motivation for the playoffs, defeating the Suns in 6 and the Spurs in 6 to make it to the conference finals. But also there's a chance it doesn't matter because we're playing OKC again. For the 4th time, man. I don't understand, bro. Somebody has to help out Flight, because Flight's hooping. Flight's literally averaging like 30 points per game in the playoffs, 10 assists, and oh my god, okay. 30 points per game might be an understatement now. So with that upgrade, right, every single player on the team has a 0 shot and touch tendency. But Flight, on the other hand, has 100s in both, which basically means he can take as many shots as he wants.
Nice.
And he made the most of it by making 658 threes, the most in NBA history by far. And on top of that, he'd average 55 points per game to finally win MVP.
Made me happy, made me smile.
All that's left is a championship. And the first round against Denver, easy win. Second round against Sacramento, also an easy win. But now for a 5th straight time, Flight's up against OKC. Or is he? New Orleans, the 6th seed, eliminated OKC, the 2nd seed. They did it for us, bro. But looking at their roster, it kind of made sense. But at the same time, it didn't. Kobe's on the Pelicans, bro. What season are we even in? And as you would expect, Kobe would go to work in game 1. Come on, bro. Kobe. Come on, Kobe. But fortunately, Flight would bounce back to win game 2. And even though Kobe would take over in game 3, Flight would drop 54 and 51, winning both games to go up 3-2. Okay, now we're starting to show up. Okay. Flight's officially 1 win away from making it to his first finals. And even though he would have to do it on the road, he was completely unfazed.
Running through 100 bands in a week. Florida, baby, you can hear the accent when I speak. Was just a chill other just looking for freaks.
And with that, in season 7, Flight would be making it to his first finals. Literally all it took was to not play OKC. And you may think after all this time his opponent would be Steph, but it's actually MVP D Rose, who in this simulation has not torn his ACL. So as you would expect, the series would be really competitive. After the first 4 games, we would have a 2-2 series tie. But unfortunately for Flight and the Warriors, it didn't really end well in game 5. Oh, bro, we don't even have a timeout. Oh my god, bro. Flight's gonna have to... Just a really tragic way to go down 3-2. Now Flight and the Warriors have to go on the road in Chicago and try to force a game 7. But from the opening tip, Flight was in complete control. So much so that by the end of the game, he was up 20. Bro, they don't even run the play for Flight this time, bro. Oh, Paul George missing a wide open shot. Where have we seen that before? But for some reason, going into game 7, I was really worried about Paul George. What is he doing? Bro, he better not do this tomorrow. But in Flight's case, he's ready for game 7. And how could he not be? He's been waiting for this moment for a long time. On top of that, it would be played back at home, and with 3 minutes left, he would have a late lead. But D Rose isn't ready to quit just yet. Lance Stevenson with the ball. Lance Stevenson over to D Rose. Flight kind of fell asleep, I'm not gonna lie. And D Rose has 31. He's not going home that easily. I thought this whole time the huge opponent for Flight would be Steph. No, it's just OKC and D Rose and Valanciunas. Why are we throwing it down to Steven Adams? No, it's going back out to Flight. Flight, that's literally the most wide open shot he's ever getting. He hits it. We're up 10. D Rose going all the way in transition. The floater, bro, he's not going away. He's literally not going away. Flight has 60 points. They pass it over to Flight. Flight, he missed it. Oh my god. Okay, bro. Chicago still with some life. They have to score, though. And they have to score somewhat quickly, which they are kind of not doing right now. They pass it over to D Rose, who has Tyreek Evans on him. D Rose stopped by Tyreek. The defense of his life. He misses the layup. They throw it over to Flight. Flight, one more shot could end the game for real. But the ball would find Paul George. And we all remember how he missed that shot earlier against OKC. But now, he has a chance of redemption. What is that? That is literally a flagrant. And even though that foul probably broke a few bones, he would go to the line and make both free throws. And those would officially be the final points that the Warriors would score, because that's all they needed. It took him 7 long seasons, but Flight's finally an NBA champion. And of course, Flight's the finals MVP, officially surpassing Steph despite a few challenges on the way. But speaking of challenges, we all know how Kai Cenat isn't really the tallest person in the world. How will that lack of height affect him in the NBA? To find out the answer to that question, click the video on the screen.